So, hello and welcome to another special episode in the series of videos where I document my quest to build the automation game world in the game Transportiva 2. So the year is 2016 or now 2017, due to me having to fast forward to find a useful start point for this video. So the end of the build phase, and in this series of special episodes I use train rides, bus rides, car rides, and today plane rides to show the map from different angles and a different part of the map. And today we'll have a couple of flyovers across the map, so 3 overall, to see all major parts of the map where there are planes. So we start in the very east in Delua on Basara Airport, where we have 2 planes landing, one taxiing now to the terminal, the other one taxiing to the runway. And we want to fly from Basara to Harford, so once across the map, from the Deluan capital to the Gizmian capital. So here we see lots of desert. Here is the capital Basara, including a nice high-rise building. Here on the other side we see Al Roma, the second city that fit on the map. Some cargo trains going from Al Roma and going to Al Roma. And now we are taking off. This is just a small airport, and note that Delua has jet planes, whereas all the other small airports they are switched to turboprops. But of course they have to have it fancy in Delua, and so that's why they use jets still. Here we have the big oil port of Delua, where tankers from Gizmir in red, from Florinia in green, and from Ahana in black come and get crude oil. Here we have Ahana already, so that's Tusgala, where the Ahanan oil wells are. The next city, Charybda, also still on the Ahanan east coast. And we're now making our turn towards the west. So on the right we see Lake Mara in Ahana on the other side of the basin. Here we see the mountain ridge that divides the Ahanan basin on the inside from the south coast. On the left, Yelta. There we see Kronagrad Airport, so that's a large airport but with only one runway. And then next to that, to the left of the airport, is the city of Kronagrad, so the Ahanan capital. And then right below us is the city of Mara on the right of the small river, and then the city of Sahki on the left. To the left of the mountain ridge is Leningrad, and then the first city in Florinia, which is Podte-Imen. The big city next to the river to the right is Novobeskov, and then we have further ahead Volkov, and then Vashduk further along the river. And we also see all the Ahan heavy industry, so a steel mill with lots of smoke, and a fuel refinery with lots of dark smoke, and some other factories, tools factory, food factory, etc. We can catch a glimpse of the north coast with Yelta in Ahana, and then we have the border city of Rosendorf-Knelova, which is split across the river, and the river is the border. So we're now entering Gizmir already. Wilburg and Rensweiler to the left, Bad Neusund, Kronhaven and Hammersbach to the right. Hammersbach is the city in the middle, the other two on the coast. Now we start cruising and already slightly descending already. So further into Gizmir with Felsbach just underneath us, and Kirkstadt on the right. The French-speaking part of Gizmir on the left with Chapelle and Avignon-le-Bain, which is just leaving the picture. Now in the English-speaking part, the Great Plains, Picton on the left, Durbridge in the middle, and Seaby on the right. Ellisbury to the very left. And we're already now descending towards Harford Airport, which we can see in the distance on, what's that, 10 o'clock? And the Harford then next to it. We are currently flying towards Midbury, and to the right is Hollymore, and the further distance is Highport. So that's then the Gizmere northern coast, and to the left we see the Great Lakes. We're next to Harford, so Lake Happing. And now we make a turn. Let's see whether we can land on the first attempt in Harford. There the two runways make a big difference, so the planes have to circle much less. And can catch a good glimpse here of Midbury then as we turn towards Harford and the Harford skyline in the distance. The Highlands, the Gizmerean Highlands to the right. There's a cargo train on the left side. So 11 o'clock, currently crossing one of the bridges, moving towards Harford Station. And this looks good. Flying over the plastics factory in Midbury, see a few trucks waiting to deliver stuff. Yeah, so straight into the left runway. Or the right runway? No, it's actually the right runway. So 18 right. I think this is exactly north-south. So the hangar on the left, and then 3 terminals, one local terminal for Harford-Wilburg, one small domestic terminal for Basara, Frenia and Hedvija, and the final terminal for Kronagrad for the large planes, because these take a long time to disembark all 55 passengers, whereas the small planes have a much quicker turn around. So we've landed in Harford, so we see the city from here. Yeah, see the skyline quite nicely, and a few chimneys as well from the machines factory just on the outskirts of Harford. And here are the terminals we're making our way towards. No other planes here, so we'll have to wait a bit, because we want to fly back to Kronagrad, so to have a different perspective on the map. I think it's a bit further, or it starts further south and turns further north. There is something landing that looks like a Q400 with a turboprop. So this one comes from Frenia because it's green. So as I said, all the other small planes have moved to turboprops, whereas we are still having the sole remaining commuter jets on the route towards or between Harford and Basara. There we see the passengers waiting who want to go to the Lure. And since there are no planes waiting, we're in a rush to exit. And yeah, so we'll the jet bridge will now take care of. Well, it doesn't really fit, so it's a one-size-fits-all. So this fits better to large planes. So then let's exit and see who is approaching. That is another a commuter plane. Harford-Berlau has the flying boxcar, the short, I think SC7 or 330, because that's a very tiny route due to the low distance. So I guess we'll have to wait a little bit, and I'll cut that part out of the video till one of the large plane arrives, which we then can take back to Kronagrad. So there is our 757 that will go from Harford to Kronagrad. So it's full, but we get special permission to go aboard as well. So here we see another plane taking off. This one is the regional plane to Wilburg. And yeah, there is another plane from the Lure, just landing on runway 18 right. And we are now taxiing to either runway to take off. And then we see some other parts of the map a little bit better, and also the approach into Kronagrad. Okay, so we take off from a runway 18 left. So there might be some other plane on the way to landing on 18 right. Okay. So into position and full throttle ahead. And as you can see, the 757 has 50 people in it, and the others have something like 20 or 25. So we take off. Should remove that tree probably. But anyway. So here we see Springvale and the goods factory in Springvale, and that's already the Hedvesian Alps. So on the other side of those big mountains is Hedvesia. So we make a steep left turn where we see Naubat in Hedvesia, up in the mountains. I think that's the only city I managed to squeeze into the mountains. Everything else is a farm or a mine or something like that at best. So here the other promised perspective, or a logging camp for Wangensee, just below us. And so here we see Ellisbury and the Ellisbury cargo station and the fuel refinery. Down there, here we have a good view on top of the Alps. So that's Riemsboden and Oberaltdorf or Unteraltdorf, take your pick. So now moving across the Hedvesian Alps to the left, the French-speaking part of Casimir, so Vinaux-les-Bains and Chapelle right ahead. And then behind that is the Schwerthöhe mountain ridge, and there we see the Erkhausen steel mill on the left with all the chimneys. And then we have again Rensweiler and Wilburg, and we also can catch a good glimpse at Wilburg airport. To the right is now already Florinia. And now we're flying over the hinterlands in Achana ahead. So now over the border first. Sliza on the left, then Vashduk at the center with the big cargo station, a few mining operations in the hinterlands on the left, and then a good view again into the basin on the right. We focus to the left at 10 o'clock Mentash up there, a big important port to supply the Hahn hinterlands and to get the ore and coal out of there. And okay, we can't land immediately in Kronagrad, so we have to circle, which isn't bad. So we see more of the hinterlands. So Berezovka is the city directly below us, inside the hinterlands, and then further ahead we see Yartas. That's the big port. That's the other important port on the north coast to get all the coal and ore out of the area. So Mentash, the ships go to Sliza, and the Yartash ships go to Alrema. So now we can, as an added bonus, we see a bit more of the Gazmir north coast as well. So again, Bad Neusund right in the center. To the right we have Kronhaven, and on the left now with the ports and the big train station and the farm, that's Achana, that's Sliza. Rosendorf, Altendelova, the split city directly ahead. And we also can now catch a good glimpse at the big port facilities in Vashduk. And now the Achanon Basin front and center. So Novobeskov and Sarki in the middle. So second try to approach Kronagrad. Straight ahead now is Glensk with the big train station for passengers at the northern end of Lake Mara, Sarki to the south, and the city of Mara to the east. Now flying above Leningrad. no, Janagrad, sorry. Leningrad is in the south, can't see that from here. And now we're approaching Kronagrad Airport as we get the autosave, which I always leave the on, because otherwise I would forget to switch it back on. Ruvatka on the left, so that's the city still in the basin, but at the very edge of the hinterlands as well. So there is the port of Advonia and the cargo station of Advonia, which sort of has merged with the city of Kronagrad, a food factory there as well. And then we get to approach Kronagrad Airport, which isn't entirely straightforward. And metaphorically speaking, of course, because we are still going to fly in a straight line, but you'll see why. Because we have to fly basically directly over the city. So little room for error to touch down on the Seoul runway. So that's one hallmark of Kronagrad Airport. The reason is a more sort of game mechanics reason. Otherwise, the planes would really struggle not to crash into the mountains ahead from the basin if the airport were a bit further away from the city. But it makes for some nice dramatic view angles. This close proximity of the airport to the center of the city. So which plane is that? That's perfect. That's where we want to go. Because the next two are simply jumping ahead. Because I think taxiing isn't that interesting. Not jumping ahead. Because the third plane ride is that we can catch a glimpse of the south coast. So we go to Berlau. So I'm exiting the 757 and jumping on the airplane that's about to depart, so saving us a little bit of time. So here we see the train station of Kronagrad, one of the basin commuter trains with which go clockwise and counterclockwise to the basin, and the Kronagrad skyline as we taxi onto the runway. And as we see, the city of Kronagrad has sort of grown around the airport as well. So cities grow automatically. It don't do anything to it. I actually can't do anything about it other than manually limiting the number of city buildings. Okay, so then let's take off, and that's then the third and final plane ride that we can catch a good glimpse of the south coast as well of the continent, which we haven't really seen so far. And here you'll see why building the airport so far inland was the only choice, because we have to clear this mountain ridge. So to the left, to Skala on 10 o'clock, what we saw earlier as we took off from Basara. So then Charybta ahead with a farm. Another steep curve. We see all the tankers. Again, red for Kazmir, green for Varinia, and black for Ahana. Here having the ship traffic. The other ships that are less colorful are the normal freighters, but I think the majority of ship traffic, especially here, are tankers. So then Kurlin just below us, Yelta on the right. And now we should at some point, yeah, level again. And so you see the tankers all going straight through towards Afrinia and towards Kazmir, whereas then the freighters here are then calling at the ports that are actually here inland. So now we're about to cross into Afrinia. So the Frinian Alps, Porte Imen to the right. The farm is the stand-in for Cante del Mar, and Kalides to the left, and the Ila Gastela food factory. So now we're flying over Farinia, the core lands, Araikanta, to the left. Then at 10 o'clock Terzo, the capital of Florinia, and then ahead, further ahead to the left of the coast is Porto Castelfranco and Meranio to the right. See one dormant volcano with a crater lake. One plane having taken off from Terzo Airport. And then Via Stella is the next city on the coast, and Marina, the city on the right. And now crossing, or about to cross, into Hedvija. So these cities are still Florinia, but then everything afterwards is Hedvija. So Salvis, that's the first city, and there is the Klafenstein volcano as we start our descent, and Friedhain am Meer right below the volcano. Behind the volcano we have Meereshofen, and again you see lots of ship traffic and also now plenty of freighters, because the economies of Florinia and Hedvija are closely intertwined, whereas the tankers go across the entire map basically from the Lure to Gezmir. So further descent, so Meereshofen ahead, and then behind that with the larger train station with the white roofs and the larger urban area that is the capital of Hedvija, Berlau. And Berlau has its airport behind the city, so we'll catch a good glimpse of the city as we fly by. And then in the far distance we have the large island of Vianta, which belongs to Gezmir. So let's have a look at Meereshofen, which is sort of built here into the mountain line. See a high-speed train going by, and then Berlau with a nice skyline as befitting for a capital. Also nested here into or between coast and the Alps. Some ancient bridges in the center, and then some newer bridges on the coast, and there we see the runway where we're going to touch down. So that's Berlau Airport, the outskirts of Berlau, safely away from the city, not like Kronagrad. And then in the far distance ahead we would see Gezmir already again. So no landing on the numbers because there are no numbers. Catch a very short glimpse of a commuter train on the left. You probably have to go back in the video to see that. And yeah, welcome to Hedvija. There we see the roof of the Karlstadt am Strand, a passenger train station, and we are now going to the small airport terminal. So that's why these are much lower buildings and no jet bridges here of the Hedvijan airport. So all the capitals basically have an airport, plus Vilborg also has its own airport. There we see the airport bus bringing people from Berlau and from the train station of Berlau, and then from here they can go anywhere. Here we see one of the flying boxcars, so the shorts, yeah, I think C7 or 330 that flies between Harford and Berlau, because it's a very short route, so there's a high-speed train running, so there are only a few plane passengers. And here you see plenty of people waiting who want to go to all sorts of other cities from Berlau. Okay, so that was it. So that's a bit of a different perspective on the map. So from up top to get an idea of the scale and where everything is and where the main traffic arteries are. If you're interested in more sort of close-up perspectives, then you'll find plenty of train rides, bus rides, or sort of car rides where we join the sims, so the simulated people on the map on the car journeys, and then through all of those, so you can get some other more close-up perspectives on the map. And all that's left to me to say at this point is then, see you then.